Do not show your wounded finger, for everything will knock up against it, nor complain about it, for malice always aims at where pain is weak. Welcome to the fortress of the mind. Manipulation requires a handle. It needs a crack in your armor, a desire to be liked, a fear of being rejected, or a need for validation. If you remove the handle, you become smooth, impenetrable, impossible to grasp. Today we engineer that invincibility. On one side, Niccolo Machiavelli, the master of the mask. He teaches that to be free, you must hide your true self and treat the opinions of others as tools to be discarded. On the other, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor. He teaches that you must build an inner citadel so strong that the insults and flattery of the world shatter against your walls like glass. This content analyzes psychological defense mechanisms for educational purposes. We teach you to spot the strings so you can cut them. Use this knowledge wisely. If you are ready to reclaim your sovereignty, subscribe now. Pick your side. The debate begins.
Marcus, I watch you walk through the forum, nodding at senators, accepting their applause with that same dull expression. You think this is humility, but it is dangerous. To let men praise you is to let them judge you. And if they have the authority to judge you good, they retain the authority to judge you bad tomorrow. The first step to becoming impossible to manipulate is the death of validation. A man who needs approval is a dog wearing a collar, handing the leash to anyone who smiles at him. You must view the praise of others not as a reward, but as a potential bribe. When someone compliments you, they are often testing your vanity, seeing if you are hungry for it. If you eat from their hand, they own you. You must starve them. Treat their applause with disdain. Make them feel that their opinion is beneath you, irrelevant to your grand design. Only then do you break the chain of dependence.
You speak of disdain, Niccolo, which is just another form of attachment. If you despise their opinion, you are still reacting to it. You are still defined by it, just in reverse. To be truly impossible to manipulate, you must reach the state of apatheia regarding reputation. Praise is nothing but the clacking of tongues. It is noise. Does an emerald lose its quality if it is not praised? No. Does gold become cheaper because a fool ignores it? No. I do not treat their praise with disdain. I treat it with accuracy. I ask, is this true? If it is true, it is a fact, not a gift. If it is false, it is an error, not an insult. The manipulator relies on you inflating your own ego. He pumps you up so he can steer you. But if you know exactly what you are, no more, no less, his flattery finds no hook. I am not a dog on a leash because I do not hunger for the bone they offer. I am already full on my own integrity.
Integrity is a fine shield for a philosopher, but a poor one for a prince. You miss the mechanics of power. Men do not manipulate you solely through direct flattery. They manipulate through social pressure. They use the herd instinct. They say, everyone else agrees with us, why don't you? If you rely on accuracy, you might find yourself debating them. And to debate is to lose because you validate their premise. I propose a more aggressive defense, the active rejection. When they offer validation, you do not analyze it, you suspect it. You must train yourself to feel nauseous when you are agreed with too easily. The moment someone aligns with you perfectly, you should pivot, change your position, keep them off balance. If they cannot predict what pleases you, they cannot curate a mask to seduce you. Be a moving target. Let your ego be a ghost, something they can try to grasp but never hold. Your integrity makes you predictable, Marcus, and predictability is the manipulator's playground.
Predictability is only a weakness if your foundation is weak. The sun is predictable. It rises every day. Is it manipulated? No, it is supreme. You suggest dancing around like a jester to confuse the enemy. That is exhausting. That is a life lived in reaction to them. The manipulator wants you to dance. He wants you to change your position so he can steer you. My defense is the immutable rock. Let the waves crash. Let them use social pressure. Everyone agrees? So be it. 10,000 men think I am a fool? Let them think it. The strength comes from the realization that their collective mind is no more sane than their individual minds. Look at the source of the judgment. Who are these people? They are fickle, driven by fear, slaves to their own impulses. Why should I care if a madman likes me? Once you see the manipulator as a sick patient rather than a powerful master, his power evaporates. You do not need to pivot, you simply need to stand still and watch them exhaust themselves trying to move you.
The manipulator underestimates the toxicity of the sick patient, Marcus. They are contagious. Standing still allows them to surround you, to weave their webs of guilt and obligation. After all I did for you, they will say. They will weaponize your own virtues against you. You must cut the cord before the web is spun. This is the law of ingratitude. Society teaches us that we owe people for their kindness. This is a trap. A manipulator gives you a small gift to demand a large sacrifice later. You must be comfortable being called ungrateful. You must be willing to burn the bridge the moment you smell the sulfur of obligation. Do not stand still. Sever the tie. Be cold. If they call you arrogant, good. Arrogance is a hedge that keeps the parasites at bay. Your stoic understanding opens the door to pity, and pity is the Trojan horse of manipulation.
Pity does not mean submission, Niccolo. I can pity the manipulator without obeying him. In fact, seeing him clearly as a desperate, broken thing trying to control others to feel safe removes his mystique. You fear obligation because you view relationships as transactions. I view them as duties or indifferences. If someone gives me a gift with strings attached, I cut the strings, not the person. I accept the gift as if it were free. When they tug on the rope, they find it severed. After all I did for you, my answer is silence, or a simple, I did not ask for it. This is not cruelty, it is boundary. You act out of fear of being trapped. I act out of the knowledge that I cannot be trapped unless I consent. No one can harm my mind without my permission. You build a fortress of spikes and fear. I build a fortress of reason. Your walls eventually imprison you. Mine set me free.
Your integrity makes you predictable, Marcus, and predictability is the manipulator's playground.
Predictability is only a weakness if your foundation is weak. The sun is predictable. It rises every day. Is it manipulated? No, it is supreme. You suggest dancing around like a jester to confuse the enemy. That is exhausting. That is a life lived in reaction to them. The manipulator wants you to dance. He wants you to change your position so he can see you jump. My defense is the immutable rock. Let the waves crash. Let them use social pressure. Everyone agrees? So be it. 10,000 men think I am a fool? Let them think it. The strength comes from the realization that their collective mind is no more sane than their individual minds. Look at the source of the judgment. Who are these people? They are fickle, driven by fear, slaves to their own impulses. Why should I care if a madman likes me? Once you see the manipulator as a sick patient rather than a powerful master, his power evaporates. You do not need to pivot, you simply need to stand still and watch them exhaust themselves trying to move you.
You underestimate the toxicity of the sick patient, Marcus. They are contagious. Standing still allows them to surround you, to weave their webs of guilt and obligation. After all I did for you, they will say. They will weaponize your own virtues against you. You must cut the cord before the web is spun. This is the law of ingratitude. Society teaches us that we owe people for their kindness. This is a trap. A manipulator gives you a small gift to demand a large sacrifice later. You must be comfortable being called ungrateful. You must be willing to burn the bridge the moment you smell the sulfur of obligation. Do not stand still. Sever the tie. Be cold. If they call you arrogant, good. Arrogance is a hedge that keeps the parasites at bay. Your stoic understanding opens the door to pity, and pity is the Trojan horse of manipulation.
Pity does not mean submission, Niccolo. I can pity the manipulator without obeying him. In fact, seeing him clearly, as a desperate, broken thing trying to control others to feel safe, removes his mystique. You fear obligation because you view relationships as transactions. I view them as duties or indifferences. If someone gives me a gift with strings attached, I cut the strings, not the person. I accept the gift as if it were free. When they tug on the rope, they find it severed. After all I did for you, my answer is silence, or a simple, I did not ask for it. This is not cruelty. It is boundary. You act out of fear of being trapped. I act out of the knowledge that I cannot be trapped unless I consent. No one can harm my mind without my permission. You build a fortress of spikes and fear. I build a fortress of reason. Your walls eventually imprison you. Mine set me free.
The manipulator thrives on one thing above all else: information. He throws a stone into the water to see the ripples. He insults you to see your anger. He flatters you to see your pride. If you react, you reveal your shape. You show him where your buttons are. Therefore, the ultimate defense is not just silence, but tactical ambiguity. When you are provoked, Marcus, you likely retreat into your shell of stoic calm. You endure. But endurance is passive. I propose something more active: the fog of war. When a manipulator questions you, do not answer. Pause. Look at them for 3 seconds too long. Make the silence heavy. Make it uncomfortable. Humans abhor a vacuum. If you do not fill the silence, they will fill it with their own insecurities. They will start to backpedal, to explain themselves, to reveal their hand. You do not need to be a rock. You need to be a void, a dark hole where their words disappear and never return. By becoming unreadable, you become dangerous. They cannot manipulate what they cannot understand.
You treat human interaction as a duel of shadows, Niccolo. Always hiding, always calculating. But the most effective way to disarm a manipulator is not to confuse him, but to bore him. I practice the art of the gray rock. When a man tries to provoke me, I do not give him the heavy silence you speak of, for that is still a reaction. It shows I am playing a game. Instead, I give him nothing: blandness, monotony. If he insults me, I say, "Perhaps you are right." If he accuses me, I say, "I see." I offer no emotional fuel, no anger, no defense, no clever retort. The manipulator is an addict. He is addicted to drama, to the supply of reaction. If you feed him ambiguity, he gets curious. He thinks, what is he hiding? He digs deeper. But if you feed him dust, if you are as interesting as a gray rock on the side of the road, he walks away. He seeks a more vibrant victim. To be uninteresting to a toxic person is the highest form of safety.
Boring?
You want a prince to be boring? That is an insult to power. If you are perceived as a dull stone, you may be ignored, yes, but you will also be disrespected. Men walk on stones. They kick them aside. You forget that reputation is currency. If you allow yourself to be insulted without a sharp response, the audience sees weakness. My toolkit includes the mirror of madness. When someone tries to gaslight you, when they deny reality, don't argue facts like a lawyer. Mirror their absurdity. If they tell a blatant lie, smile and agree with it so enthusiastically that they become unnerved. If they say, "I never said that," you say, "Of course not. In fact, no one is speaking right now. We are all imagining this." Out crazy the crazy. Destabilize them. A manipulator expects resistance. He does not expect acceleration. When you push the accelerator on their cliff, they panic. You take control of the chaos they created. Your gray rock sits there and gets eroded. My method makes them fear the water.
And once again, you descend into the mud to wrestle with the pig. By out-crazying the crazy, you become crazy. You fracture your own grip on reality just to win a momentary tactical victory. You concern yourself with the audience? The audience is fickle. If they see a man screaming at a stone and the stone remains silent, who looks like the fool? The screamer? My silence is not passivity, Niccolo. It is dignity. It is the refusal to lower my soul to the level of their disorder. You speak of being kicked aside. A man who masters himself cannot be kicked aside because he occupies a space no one else can touch, the citadel of reason. Your method requires you to be an actor, constantly wearing masks, constantly monitoring the manipulator's state. You are obsessed with them. You are still dancing to their tune, even if you are dancing aggressively. I focus on my own duty, my own nature. The manipulator is a storm. I am the mountain. The storm rages, it screams, it throws lightning. The mountain does not mirror the lightning, it simply stands. And eventually, the storm runs out of rain.
Mountains erode, Marcus, and storms can last for centuries. You assume the manipulator will get tired. What if he doesn't? What if he enjoys the one-sided abuse? There are men who will chip away at your citadel for a lifetime if you let them. Sometimes you must use the sharp edge of truth. You say you don't argue? Fine, but you can expose. When a manipulator uses a covert tactic, a backhanded compliment, a guilt trip, you do not ignore it. You label it. You say, "You are trying to make me feel guilty, so I will do your work." You say it calmly, dryly. You drag the subtext into the light. Manipulators operate in the dark. They rely on implied meanings. By speaking the quiet part out loud, you ruin the game. You break the spell. It is not reacting emotionally. It is dissecting them clinically, like a surgeon cutting out a tumor. You show them you see the strings. Once they know they are seen, they flee. They are like cockroaches. They hate the light.
Now we approach agreement, though your intent is still aggressive. Speaking the truth is indeed a stoic weapon. We call it stripping the mask. But I do it without the intent to expose or humiliate. I do it to clarify. If someone tries to manipulate me, I ask a Socratic question. What is your goal with this statement? Why do you wish me to feel this way? I force them to explain their manipulation. And because manipulation cannot survive explanation, it withers. But I do this without malice. I do it with curiosity. If you do it with malice, as you suggest, you enter a power struggle. You become their rival. And a rival is just another type of partner in the game. I refuse to be their partner. I am the observer. The moment you try to win against a manipulator, you have already lost, because you have admitted that their game is worth playing. The only winning move is to step off the board entirely.
Stepping off the board is a luxury for those with nowhere to go. In the real world, we are forced onto the board. We have bosses, rivals, enemies. You cannot always walk away. Sometimes you must stand and dominate. If you cannot leave, you must control. And to control, you must be the one who sets the frame. Do not let them ask the questions. You ask the questions. He who asks the questions holds the power. He who answers is the subordinate. You play the philosopher, Marcus, but even you know that sometimes the only way to stop a wolf is to show it a spear.
A spear, yes, but a spear held in a steady hand, not a frantic one. The ultimate frame is this: I control my mind. You do not. No matter what question they ask, no matter what trap they set, that truth remains. You try to manipulate the manipulator. I simply render myself impossible to manipulate. One is a tactic. The other is a state of being.
We arrive at the final line of defense, Marcus, the vault. You live in a world where you believe men are fundamentally rational. I live in a world where men are fundamentally wicked, greedy, and envious. To survive among wolves, you must not bleed, and information is blood. The third law of manipulation defense is absolute secrecy. Look at the modern man. He broadcasts his life. He posts his loves, his hates, his location, and his weaknesses on the public wall. He hands the manipulator a dossier of ammunition. If I know what you desire, I can bribe you. If I know what you fear, I can terrify you. If I know your sins, I can blackmail you. My toolkit is the law of concealment. Never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Wear a mask. In fact, wear two. Be friendly, but vague. Listen, but do not speak. When they ask about your plans, lie. Or better yet, give them a plan you discarded yesterday. If they do not know where you are standing, they cannot aim the arrow. You must become a ghost in your own life.
A ghost is a wretched thing, Niccolo. Forever hiding, forever afraid of the light. You build a vault to protect your secrets, but in doing so, you build a prison for your soul. If you must lie about your plans, it is because your plans are unworthy. If you must hide your actions, it is because you are ashamed of them. My defense is not the locked vault. It is the house of glass. I strive to live in such a way that if every wall of my house were made of transparent glass, I would not change a single action. You think secrecy makes you safe? No, secrecy creates leverage. The moment you hide something, you give power to the one who discovers it. You create a shadow that follows you. He who has nothing to hide has nothing to fear. If a manipulator tries to blackmail me with the truth, I say, go ahead, tell them, it is true. By owning my flaws and living with radical honesty, I disarm them completely. There is no leverage against a man who accepts himself fully. I am not safe because I am hidden. I am safe because I am real.
Nothing to hide, nothing to fear. The motto of the naive. You forget that context is a weapon. A manipulator does not need a shameful secret to destroy you. They take an innocent comment, strip it of context, and present it as a crime. They take a moment of weakness and paint it as your entire character. Transparency is suicide in a court of vipers. You must protect your soft spots. Everyone has them. A child, a lover, a dream, a past trauma. These are the handles they grab. I propose the decoy strategy. Since people will always look for a handle, give them a fake one. Feign a weakness you do not have. Pretend to be annoyed by something that does not bother you. Let them think they have found the button. Let them press it. When they press it and you do not react, they are confused. Or better, react to the fake button to lure them into a trap. Control the information flow. Feed them disinformation. If they think you are greedy, they will try to buy you. If you are actually ambitious for power, their gold means nothing, and you can take it while laughing at them. You must be the director of the play, Marcus, not the honest actor hoping the audience is kind.
And once again, your life becomes a performance, a lie layered upon a lie. You speak of soft spots, your children, your loves. The Stoic does not hide these things. He prepares them. I love my children, but I know they are mortal. I love my reputation, but I know it is external. The manipulator can only hurt you if you are attached to things outside your control. If you are terrified of losing your reputation, you will lie to protect it. That fear is the handle. My toolkit is detachment. If a man threatens to ruin my name unless I obey him, I answer, do what you must. If I am not a slave to my reputation, he has no power. If he threatens to take my wealth, I say, take it. If I am not a slave to gold, he has no power. You try to hide the treasure so they cannot steal it. I simply realize that the only true treasure is my own character, which cannot be stolen. You play games with decoys because you are afraid of loss. I practice acceptance of loss. That makes me dangerous, Niccolo. A man who is willing to walk away from everything is the one man who cannot be manipulated.
A man willing to walk away from everything is a man who has already lost. You would let them strip you naked just to prove a philosophical point. Take my gold, take my name, and what are you left with? A beggar's pride. Power requires resources. Influence requires leverage. You cannot govern if you are destitute and despised. To be impossible to manipulate, you must be the one holding the cards. Keep your cards close to your chest. Never let them see your eyes. The world respects mystery. The unknown is terrifying. If you are an open book, people get bored. They read you, they shelve you, they forget you. But the locked vault, they obsess over it. They fear what is inside. That fear commands respect. A prince must be an enigma. Be dark, Marcus. Darkness protects. Light exposes.
Darkness protects the rot, Niccolo. Light cleanses it. You think mystery commands respect? It breeds suspicion. And suspicion leads to conspiracy. By hiding, you invite the world to come looking for you with knives. My power comes from consistency. When people know that my word is iron, that my principles are unmovable, they stop trying to manipulate me. They realize it is a waste of energy. You spend your energy building mazes and decoys. I spend my energy building strength. Go ahead, hide in your vault. Lock the heavy door. But remember, the thicker the walls you build to keep others out, the thicker the walls that keep you in. You manipulate yourself into isolation. I stand in the open field, unarmed, but unharmed. For I am armed with the truth, and the truth needs no hiding place.
You are a prisoner of your own strategy. I am free.
The dust settles. Two paths lie before you. Machiavelli offers you the cloak of invisibility, a strategy of masks, decoys, and aggressive ambiguity. He believes safety lies in the dark, where no one can find your true self to harm it. Marcus offers you the armor of transparency, a strategy of radical self-acceptance and indifference. He believes safety lies in the light, where you become so solid that no weapon can cut you. One avoids the arrow. The other breaks it against his chest. Now the choice is yours. Who did you identify with most? With the strategic secrecy of Machiavelli, or with the unbreakable integrity of Marcus? Comment your allegiance below. Like the video to strengthen the algorithm. Choose your side.